What does hard work mean to you?
Hard work is important to me because I feel like if I don't work hard, I've let everybody else down. So it's important for me to do everything I can do to work hard.
Gotcha.
What have you learned from me about hard work?
A lot. I've learned to you about never giving up, never quitting, just keep going.
Well, that's good. Even when you tell me that it's doesn't matter?
I never said that.
Oh yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
What about that time you told me that qualifying didn't matter?
That was not a good day.
What happened?
You made me start in the back out of every final.
You told me qualifying didn't matter.
Maybe it does.
It might matter a little bit.
What do you think it takes to be the best racer?
I've never been the fastest racer, so I've always had to try to outthink everybody. And it's the same thing that I tell you all the time. Thinkers always win. Very rarely does the fast guy win. You want to be fast, but you want to be able to outthink them.
Gotcha.
Because there's not a lot of really good thinkers in racing that drive them. So if you can outsmart them, you can do a lot better than you probably could just off of speed. At least that was the case for me.
Do you have advice for me when I'm not happy racing?
I would tell you that you're going to be not happy racing a lot. But I would remind yourself that you race because you enjoy it, but racing's not always going to be easy, especially at a professional level, because of the fact that there's just going to be days where your car's slow, you make dumb mistakes, wheels fall off of it, whatever it is, like it's going to happen. And you have to be, the guys that are good can figure out how to take those moments, talk about it with their team without destroying their team, but push their team to get better and be able to take those days where things aren't always going great and make them into a positive so that you're better next week. Because win or lose, you have to be better next week. If you don't learn off of last week, probably not thorough enough on dissecting everything. What are you working hard for?
I'm working hard to be better than you because you always tell me, don't be like me, be better than you.
That's right. That's true. I have a lot of flaws.
How would you describe me as a racer?
How would I describe you as a racer? That's a loaded question and depends on the day. I would describe you as aggressive, and I would describe you as someone who doesn't quit. Thank God. If you quit, I'd have to take you to do something else. But I would describe you as aggressive. That'd be basically where we are currently. Sometimes not the smartest aggressive, but at least you're trying. I'd rather have you trying than not.
Yeah.
Aggressive is always better than not aggressive. Fans want to know why did you pick the number 62?
I picked the number 62 because that was my grandpa's number.
Is that it? It's the only reason you picked the number 62? Why didn't you want to pick the 4?
Because the 4 is lame. We gotta switch it up.
Lame?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I'm sure. My dad's a pretty good driver. What can I do to prove myself?
Well, to prove yourself, that's an endless road. Because in my opinion, you should always have to prove yourself, whether you've driven for 10 minutes or 30 years. Because there's always something to learn. There's always somebody who thinks that they're better than you. And if you ever stop trying to get better, you'll wind up like a lot of them that just get run out of here because they think they're here for the show and not for their job. So you gotta always get better. There's always something to learn.
Gotcha. How did you prove your own path?
How did I prove my own path? I made some hard decisions at times when I didn't really know what to do, but I always went with my gut. And when I left the family race team, or I left RCR, or I retired, I always just went with what I felt was right, and I talked to the people that were closest to me in my circle of trust.
So I'm not in your circle of trust?
I asked you the other day, should I sign this TV contract or not? And you said absolutely not. So I did the exact opposite and signed it.
Exactly. So I'm not in your trust circle.
Not quite yet. You're working your way there.
Oh yeah, it's too late now.
I know you don't want to be me, but is there anything you like about my racing?
No.
Nothing.
I just go to the track to go to MRO. You always do bad, so I just don't watch.
I know, I have to take your sister to the track to win lately. Why is that? Are you distracting to me?
Yeah.
You better watch it. Tony might ban you from the pit stall.
I don't even go in the pit stall.
There isn't anything that you like about it?
I mean, when you win.
You got to ride in the car.
That was old.
Tell us about that time you shoved that golf cart underneath that tree in Michigan. Was it the brakes' fault or the tires go flat?
Well, the brakes worked, but it just went.
What were you thinking while you were covered in all those trees and myself and Chris were thinking that your eyes were poked out, running towards you?
I'm dead.
Huh?
I thought you were gonna kill me.
Did you think we'd be laughing?
No, I thought you were just gonna probably yell at me.
Yell at you?
Because he gave me the golf cart and I was going and it started to shake and I went shh, shh. And when I went to hit the brakes, it went shh.
Did you actually hit the tree or just climb in all the branches?
I hit the tree.
Tell me a fun story I don't know about.
Fun story that you don't know about.
There's got to be a fun story from all the crazy characters in your go-kart tent.
Yeah, so there's one kid in my go-kart tent that bites you. He like acts like a dinosaur and bites you.
All right. Nothing like a human biting dinosaur.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
Turkey.
Turkey.
Maybe he gets the thing from the turkey and they go
Is
gobble,
that-
gobble, gobble.
Is that the kid that wins all the time?
Maybe.
So you're getting beat by a biting dinosaur.
Hey, everybody does.
Do you remember the first time you got in a go-kart?
Why are you asking me all these questions?
I'm just on a roll. Do you remember the first time you got in a go-kart?
Where do you think I'll be in 10 years?
How old are you?
I'll be 20.
You'll be 20? That's up to you. Depends on how hard you work.
What do you think I'll be doing in 10 years?
I mean, I'd rather you be driving something and not over there doing something else. You might be a good shop sweeper, floor sweeper. 20, what do you think you'll be doing when you're 20? I hope you're not living in my house anymore. You're expensive. You'll eat more then than you do now.
Tell me a fun story that I did not know about you.
A fun story that you didn't know about me?
Yeah,
As far as like what?
as far as like a fun story that I don't know about you.
All right, so when I was 16, my dad used to go to the fire station. He'd go 2 days on, 2 days off. And when my dad would go to the fire station, I didn't have a car, so he would loan me his truck. So when Dad would go to the fire station, I would drive the truck back and forth, and then I would go pick him up from the fire station when he would get off, and he would take me to school, and then he would go home. Well, I came home one evening and I told him I was going to take the truck to go get my friends, and I don't remember where we were going. But really, we were going to jump his truck. So in the middle of our road, we had this big hump in the middle of the street, and we would see how far my friend had like a little car, his sister's car. We'd take his sister's car, and it would actually jump, and we could jump it pretty far.
How far do you think you would jump?
Well, we could jump it probably from here to the doors before it would hit the ground again. So we decided that we were going to jump my dad's truck. So we jumped the truck, and it didn't jump like her car, and it went straight up in the air. And when it landed, the battery flew out of the holder, and when it flew out of the holder, the sparks started shooting out of the grill, and the truck would still run. So I drove it all the way home, and the sparks were coming up over the top of the truck because the battery was arced on a piece of metal underneath the hood. And I came running in the house, and I told Dad that his truck was on fire, and I didn't know what was wrong with it. And he opened up the hood, and the battery was laying on the hood, and obviously at that point he knew that something had happened to his vehicle that made it leave the ground, or I had hit something pretty hard, and I had to tell him that we were jumping his truck. That went over well.
How much trouble did you get in?
I didn't get to drive the truck for a while. Only other time I didn't get to drive the truck, it had about that much rubber on the inside of the fender well. It would do good burnouts.
Oh, so you shouldn't have let you drive it at all, probably.
No, I destroyed the truck. If you did something like that, I would probably have to reprimand you.
You have an electric truck. How would I do that?
Fair. Why do you like racing?
I like racing because it's competitive and you have to work hard.
That's it?
And it's fun.
There, that's way better. Racing is fun.
Have Piper and I made weekends fun?
Depends on the weekend.
Oh, race weekends.
I'm not sure. I think I enjoy it more with Piper than I do you. I'm just kidding. It has been fun. It was more fun when you could sit on the pit box and hang out at the hauler and sit on the cool down unit.
Yeah, why can't I do that anymore?
Well, they quit letting all the kids on pit road.
Why?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to somebody way higher in the food chain with me. But weekends are always more fun when you guys are there. That means I have an excuse to eat ice cream. Hey, do you remember the first time you drove in a go-kart?
Yeah.
When?
It was like 2 years ago.
How was it?
So I think, how many people surrounded me, would you say?
What day are you talking about?
The first day ever.
The first day ever?
How
There
many
was
people?
3 of us.
You, Jimmy, and who else?
Max.
Max, yeah.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah. And you all just went,
Was it fun or were you scared to death?
I was scared to death.
You still scared a little bit?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What?
I heard you're a prankster. What's that about?
I don't know.
Are you too old now?
Oh, is this a challenge?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that you might find out now.
Okay, when?
I might be the guy hiding in your closet,
Okay.
dressed up as the boogeyman.
Okay.
What do you think?
You've already done that once.
We did fill Mom's Papa John's truck up with bouncy balls once. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. We shot Mr. Rick in the shop one day with a net gun. He thought we were getting raided. He thought somebody was coming in the shop. But we stood on the balcony, and when you shoot this gun, it has like a blank 22 shell in it, but it shoots a net out. So it goes out and it's like to capture something.
Like the fish nets where they
And it was really, yeah, like a fish net. That's exactly right. Well, we got him, but it came out in a wad and it shot him in the head, and he laid on the ground and thought he was dead.
You've been racing longer than I've alive. Do you still have fun?
I do have fun a lot of the time. There are sometimes
yeah.
when it's not a good day, I don't have that much fun.
So you only have about 2 fun.
Well, there was more chances to win. Running up front is fun too.
Yeah, but
When's the last time you won a race?
a week ago?
A week ago, my butt. When was the last time you won a race?
A month ago, maybe?
No, I don't think so.
2 months ago?
Real racing, it's like I tell you, currently you're a go-kart driver. One day you'll graduate and you'll get the title race car driver. But I'm glad you're learning that you don't win all the time when it's hard enough to not win all the time. That'll be your best European experience.
So, you're a pretty good wrestler, right? You were a wrestler, right?
Depends on who you ask.
So, you said last night, Piper told you to tickle me, right? And you said, I put you in a leg bind. And you said, whoa, you almost broke my legs. So why did you teach me that move?
Why did I teach you that move?
Yeah.
So hopefully one day you can defend yourself. In case that 40-year-old man jumps on your hood after you crash him in his late model and he's mad.
You mean like 60, 70?
I told you what's going to happen in your first late model race.
You're not gonna lap me.
I'm going to lap you twice.
No, me and Mom. Mom said she was gonna race.
Mom's not racing, but I'm going to lap you twice.
No, you're not. I'll just move off the track.
Nope, not going to happen. You're going to point me by.
No, I'm not.
You're going to point me by. Blue flag. Get out of the way. If I don't lap you twice, I'll at least lap you once. That's my goal.
What's your favorite racing memory with me?
My favorite racing memory with you, does it have to be your racing or my racing? Either.
In racing.
Either. I think my favorite moment was when we won the championship in Homestead and we were sitting up next to the wall and all you cared about was how far you could throw the rubber down the racetrack. You were too young to even, you were 2. So.
How far did I throw it?
I mean, we sat up there for a while. Just sat up next to the wall because at Homestead there's only that much room to where there's rubber on the racetrack, but we just sat up on the wall and you thought the banking was great, not a worry in the world. We just accomplished everything that we really wanted to accomplish in our racing career and you were up there just throwing rubber down the racetrack. That's my favorite.